They're here. It's a little after 10 already.
Yeah, 1 minute after.
Got a
Want roll call?
Yep, roll call.
I've got John Nicholson.
Yep.
Dave Bally.
Yep.
Bill Palin. Marvin Williams.
Yes.
Tom Wilson.
Here.
Thank you.
Yep. Everybody had a chance to look at those meeting minutes from last month. Okay. Any corrections or additions to them? Nope, nope. Need a motion to approve.
So be.
Have to have a motion.
No, don't need a motion. That's okay.
Correction.
No
correction.
okay. Visitors. Courtney? Okay. Mr. Hinkle.
Does it work?
Mr. Hinkle, wow. Yeah, hey.
Does it not work? Tom?
Okay, let's handle the claims. Let me sort through these quick.
I think I got it now.
What did you work? Did it work?
Hi. Oh, thank you. Hi. You need somebody, Chris? Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Okay. Our first thing for against Lee County Animal Control, Johnson Oil for $173.13. Wind City Energy for $60.08. Verizon for $98.40. City of Dixon, $42.23. Kaylee Deacon for $93.75. Direct Energy, $180.13. Amboy Veterinarian Hospital for $316.60. Tractor Supply for $56.96.
Total $1,021.28.
Just got one claim for pet population. That would be the Amboy Vet for pet population vouchers for $566.90. I'll wait for Greg's and consulting something here. These would be the zoning claims.
These are for zoning. First for Quill for office supplies, $93.07. Sauk Valley Media, $74.15. SBM for $92.81. US Bank for $103.32.
Total $363.35.
Dee, you want to give your report? There's a lot of zoning issues here, petitions. Would you,
I can wait, John, whenever.
okay. Yes, you do, Dee. He's sorry, it's
No, it's a good thing.
money in the pocket. We'll get into maintenance. I looked through them quick. I don't see any that would spark too many questions.
Now I'm gonna read, you want to sign?
Guys, double it.
This is under maintenance. First for Prairie State Tractor for $21.43. Go ahead. The next one's for Napa for $29.98. US Bank with receipts for $189.18. Direct Energy, we have electricity for the new jail, 4th Street, Old Jail, Old Court, Old Jail, and the tower site, a total combined of $24,013.09. We need to get those divided out. The next for a Home Depot Pro for $84.18. Dixon Water Department, New Court, Old Court, Main Building, New Jail, Old Jail, 4th Street for $1,297.07. Altar for
We love you, Greg.
for fall generator maintenance for $381.56. Altar again for new jail fuel test for generator maintenance for $240.82. For generator maintenance on the new jail, $743.30. Those are all the same generator? No.
Oil test, we didn't have an oil test on
Right.
the one at the jail because it's a diesel. So I thought we needed to add that to test that fuel because we don't use a whole lot of fuel out there. You
Right.
don't want that fuel going bad and then when you need it, it don't work.
Right.
But there's one of them's for the new courthouse, which is the lower amount, and the other one is for $200 and some dollars. I think it was for the fuel test, and then it was $700 and some dollars, I think, for the sheriff's department.
Okay, thank you. Next is from Wind City Energy for old courthouse, new courthouse, and the heat in the old jail for a total of $2,418.45. Next, Nicor Gas for $4.71 for heat old jail. National Elevator Inspection Services for $665.50. Home Depot Pro for $941.66. Ace Hardware a stack of receipts for a total of $107.81. Johnstone Supply for $92.43. Rayner Door Authority for $381. Report Rainier Door Authority again for a problem at the new jail for $1,731.20. Home Depot Pro for $131.10. Aramark for $501.22. Aramark again for $86.06. And Cone, I think it's elevator, ain't it? $209.22.
Yeah, they had to come and be here when they did the ADS alarm system, fire system test. They have to be here for the elevator operations.
Total of $34,270.97.
Got a few insurance claims. There's no capital improvement. Well, Greg, would you like to give your report now so you can scoot around across the street, or are you gonna wait? till-
No, that's okay.
Got a lot of stuff down below too, so. Okay, there's no capital improvement, repair or replacement, no capital projects. Next thing, we got a few insurance claims to go through.
First is Sauk Valley Insurance for notary bonds, notary bond and stamps for Tina Luce, Lisa Dixon, Stacy Blackburn, Colton Morgan, and F10 Morgan stamp for Colton Morgan for $336.27. That's it. Those are receipts. Oh, you had Bill?
Yeah. At the notary stamp there for 7212. Total of $336.27.
Then we get into the lots claims.
How you wanna do it? I don't care. Whichever way you do. All right. First one for lots, Ace Hardware, $40.14. All Safe Storage, $58. Bright Space Productions, $825. Capel's Complete Car Care for $117. City of Dixon for $60.18. City of Dixon again for $43.01. Against Lee County for $114.21.
It's Comcast.
We all stuck together.
We had that bill for 114,3021 was Comcast utilities, right?
Oh. Got it. Yep, I didn't read it. I read the wrong one, right.
That's correct. Comcast for 114.21.
Right.
Vendor name, 47, or for Culligan, $47.22. I read it wrong. Read the big print. DC Computers for $281.98. Direct Energy for $726.64. Dixon Ford, $77.38. Effect TV, $2,153.45. Foxter Solutions, $1,350. Home Depot Pro, $70.21. Hughes Services, $40,260.64. Ken Nelson Auto Plaza, $390.53. Lee County Treasurer, $920. Lee County Treasurer, $374. Midwest Transit Equipment, $1,407.23. Napa for $716.84.
Greg, what is the Foxter Solutions?
Our routing and scheduling software. Or our monthly payment.
Okay, pest control for $55. RC service, Benz Auto for $72. Sauk Valley Media for $1,056.80. Toyota Financial Services, $367.17. US Bank with a stack of receipts for a total, well, you got it different accounts or you got it as one total?
I have three accounts totaling $822.93.
And that's what I got, the three accounts totaling $822.93. Verizon Wireless, $1,545.94. WEX, $18,326.24. Wind City Energy, $84.36. WRHL WIOT radio for $785. WIXN WRCV WSCY radio for $1,085. Your program partner for $695. That's kind of a new one. What's that?
It's actually one we've done before in the past. It's they produce programs for different athletic events. This is going to be actually for the Dixon girls basketball Thanksgiving tournament, Christmas tournament, and doing an advertisement in that program.
Program. Okay.
We have a total of $74,929.10.
Choose the top sheet.
I'm gonna pass this sheet around. Everybody can sign it while Greg gives his report.
Okay, everyone should have a copy of my report. And I'll just hit some of the highlights. Feel free to ask questions as we go through this. At the very top, the first highlight, just some bullet points regarding the development of the mass transit district. The advisory committee of county board members from Lee and Ogle counties met on October 19th in the afternoon and held some follow-up discussions as to the development of that district. There's a recap, and then some of the outcomes from that meeting was to develop an ordinance / resolution that will be drafted by the state's attorney's office and then also put forward to both Lee and Ogle County boards with the language basically saying that they would support the development of the mass transit district. Also, as an outcome, since there will be a defined moment when Lee County state's attorneys will no longer be able to actually represent both the county as well as the developing mass transit district, we did publish a notice in the newspaper regarding requesting for a proposal from qualified law firms to provide outside legal services to lots and the developing mass transit district. And those qualified law firms have until Friday at 4 p.m. to actually submit a request for proposal. In terms of a snapshot, I'm going to try to give you some more data as to what the district is doing in terms of a monthly and then quarterly. Under that second portion of the development section, you'll see a snapshot of what October looked like. Days of service, 23 days. Total number of rides, just under 4,500. Service mileage, about 53,088 miles. Service hours, 3,200. And the local match that came back into the system to support funding gaps was about $67,238. Last week, I just pulled this data this morning, we had 1,037 rides. So we've consistently stayed over that 1,000 ride threshold for a week. And that's versus 728 from 1 year ago. It's a 56% increase from 1 year ago. And then the second graphic that I've included in the packet was a look back at the last full fiscal year, the state fiscal year of July 1 through June 30. And it shows basically what are the destinations that people generically are going to with the rides that we provide. You'll see actually some peaks, and I think the top three or top four are quite indicative. There is a lot of employment rides being given, medical, as well as shopping, and some personal and nutrition. And then we also have obviously a bundle that are unclassified at this moment, but just during that fiscal year, that's a snapshot of the different areas of need that people would have for rides for what we've been providing for that 12-month period. So I'll try to do that on a more regular basis, just so that you can get a grasp as to, are there changing needs? Obviously, employment is huge, especially with our relationship with the Crest Foods of the world, where we're providing a significant number of rides, upwards of, I know at least $1,200 worth in the last quarter, or last month, I should say, that we provided to their employees. Other developments under that second bullet point, just a quick update. If you flip over to the second page, our rebuild first round, I take that back, our rebuild second round proposal that went into IDOT probably 2 months ago. I'm hearing some favorable news from Chicago that we should have some positive news. That's all I'm being told, and that they'll announce probably within the next week, probably next week, since a lot of the staff from IDOT are out at a conference this week. But you can see the different, what the proposal would include: replacing 2 existing buses with electrical vehicles, creating some additional office space, as well as a new conference room, and then also implementing some geothermal and solar renewable energy pieces. We'll see if they fund the whole thing or just part of it. But from that perspective, I think in terms of contracts for the year, we're actually caught up. And I think we just signed the DOPE, the Downstate Operating Assistance Program contract, for fiscal year 22, and then also the 5311 contract as well. It's a lot in a short period of time. Anyone have any questions? Thank you.
Motion to pay the claims.
I'll move.
Favor say aye.
All right.
Zoning petitions, do you want me to get the moving off? Or you have any questions?
I just summarize everything that's on the agenda. Can I just summarize everything on the agenda? The zoning board of appeals is moving into its 7th night of hearing tomorrow night on the solar South Dixon solar petition. At this point, the board has heard from all the witnesses and taken the testimony, evidence, and closing statements from both the petitioner and all interested parties. The board is in the findings of fact stage of the hearing. The finding of fact is a report that summarizes the findings of the ZBA. It contains the reasons for the decision and an evaluation of the criteria or standards from the zoning ordinance that applies to the petition. In making its recommendation, the zoning board must remember that conformance to those standards for the special use as required by the zoning ordinance is the deciding factor. If the ZBA finds that all standards either are met or will be met, the ZBA must grant to recommend approval of the special use. If one or more standards are found to be not met, the ZBA must recommend denial of the special use. At the conclusion of the hearing, the recommendation will be given to the county board members to be taken under consideration for approval or denial of the petition. And I do not believe it's coming in front of you this month. I don't think we're wrapping it up tomorrow night. Do you, Charlie? Okay, so the zoning board met last week at their regularly scheduled meeting and heard 4 separate petitions. These petitions are on your agenda as coming from the zoning board of appeals. All 4 were recommended for approval. The resolutions for these petitions will be in your county board packet for your review. I have 4 petitions that are coming to the zoning board in December. Those are on your agenda. The Lee County Planning Commission also met last week to hear petition 21-PC-64, requesting a text amendment to the solar energy systems ordinance to allow for solar farms in an industrial zone. Presently, solar farms are only allowed in an agricultural zone. So the commission voted to recommend the amendment with no objection, and the resolution will be in your board packet. Another agenda item. One Energy Solar is requesting an extension on their special use petition for 2 community solar farms just east of Franklin Grove. Both petitions were approved in November of 2018. These 2 community solar projects, although were approved at the county level, were passed over in the state's adjustable block program lottery and put on a wait list for a future lottery. And then at the bottom, we have 2 appointments to the Lee County Planning Commission that's coming to you. Any questions?
No,
They might be back with something. I think they told me they were back.
We're back.
Five.
So from the 2 we're back.
Right.
I corrected it on there.
Mine was corrected.
Under 5,
I thought I corrected him.
Did you not get a,
Five.
number 5 is coming from,
Five
heard
Yours is
those
the back.
4.
Five says
We're good.
coming to.
We're good. Want to make sure we get this right.
All right. They're correct on the executive agenda. by the way.
Okay, so we need a motion.
5A.
She's shaking her head. You don't need a motion.
That,
She's shaking her head. You don't need a motion.
we need a motion on the, they're all on the agenda.
Because they're on the executive. Executive.
Okay, no motion there. Petitions coming to the zoning board of appeals on the agenda. Okay. And then petition coming from the planning commission, that's gonna be on the executive agenda. Okay. Do you wanna get out of here and we'll cover the incentives? Work for you?
Sure.
Okay, we need a motion to, on the resolution regarding the extension of the 2 zoning permits, the AB under new business. Just need a motion to get that on executive. You understand what that involves?
No.
Hmm?
What does that involve?
Well, that, you explained, Dee, that there were, back a couple of years ago, we zoned a lot of property around, the state was considering community solar farms, and they didn't award a lot of them. But these were put on a separate file for what possible future award.
Right. They're put on a wait list.
Those petitions are only good for a certain amount of time. I don't remember what that time was, 2
3 years.
years. So we need to grant an extension of 1 year date,
Good. I think they're asking for 2 years.
say, for 2 years. So I just need a motion to do that and get that on.
It's on the agenda. They're on the agenda.
There, we're
Yeah, they're already there. So
explaining, I guess, to people. Yeah. Letting them know what's going on. You understand what's going on? Everybody?
Yeah, was there some discussion about having, what one were we looking at? We were allowing an extension, but then we also went back to say they would adapt a new current, this current, stuff that they'd have to reapply under the current statute. Was that?
we approved 16 of these community solars. And after this month, the other 14 will not be able to get extended. So they're going to have to come back in and repetition.
These two are one,
Correct.
but the one, not. Lehman, Town, and Franklin.
Ellenberg,
Solomon, yeah,
Where are these 2 at?
going east of Franklin.
East of
on
Franklin.
Reynolds Road, just on the south side of it. Yeah. Just over here. Yeah, they went through the zoning board, they jumped through all the hoops. They just want to maintain the potential to be zoned for, or to be used for these community solar farms. I think.
I just didn't want to make sure these didn't apply to what we said about
Solomon is like
people. having to
22 acres, I don't know.
Do they then have to follow the ordinances of our,
yes.
so they will follow our new ordinances?
No,
See,
they'll be
that's what-
following the old
That was
ordinance.
your
That
question,
was my question.
the new ordinance.
Yep, they come in under the old ordinance, the original ordinance.
When did we discuss that? Was that the main board we discussed people coming back and wanted a 2-year extension? Or was
On
that
these
for the
community
large?
solar farms, I don't know if we've been in
Okay.
discussion. Just on a bigger house.
These are 20 acres or less.
Yeah, they're small ones. I mean, the one, I'm familiar with one east of Franklin Road, it's just tucked right back against the interstate, kind of a wet spot, so to speak, and it's a perfect spot for a solar farm, where there's no neighbors that are gonna be disturbed. I don't know what the other people. Personally. Okay, and they're on the agenda, so we don't need the motion. And
You need the motion?
we don't.
They're
need
on
the motion.
executive.
They're on the executive agenda.
You just had it highlighted.
And we'll just go down and we'll. I have a question here, Dee, or Becky. I noticed that Emily Pratt, and I may not have got it, but I had
It's in your packet.
Ben Forster, and Emily Pratt. Oh, okay, and Emily's going to be taking Chris's.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
sorry,
And Ben is moving up for from an alternate.
I'm an alternate.
Yeah, that's
I understand.
G and H and the.
Yep, now I see where they're at. Okay, Steve, you have anything else? Then we shall go on, and you're right, you did take up a large portion. of it. Okay. Under old business, the old courthouse tuck pointing project has been completed, except for a few minor ceiling issues that our maintenance department is going to take care of. We thought we could do that cheaper than we could have Berglund do it. Job appears, Greg looked at it, I looked at it, Tom looked at it, anybody else who's willing to look at it did. Came out nice. They did a good job. The on-site foreman. was
You got to
very-
get closer to your mic, Jim.
The on-site foreman was very particular with what he was doing. Probably went above and beyond the call on virtually everything he was asked to do. Very tenacious. Greg, do you have comment on any of this?
No, they did a very good job, I thought, and then, particularly, the cleanup. They had a lot of mess on the ground and everything. By the end of the day, when they were done, they spent some time, cleaned it all up and made it look nice. I think they were really a good reputable company, and I think we could work with them again, but this time we'll have a little better contract. We worked with them again. Yeah, they were good.
Input on that, I'd like to see we revisit something like this every so often. What would be a time frame in which we wouldn't get so much damage that we had major repairs this time?
Well, Tom, Greg, myself to an extent, putting together kind of a depreciation schedule on what should be done when, and to avoid that type of situation. We had 49 Dutchmen, they called them, and those cost us substantially more.
And a lot of plaster damage internally and stuff like that that could have been addressed earlier.
Yeah, some of that.
But finances were tough, but we need
Yeah.
to put it on a.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, deduct,
Yep, and that's what's
yeah.
gonna be done, takes a while.
Yes, it does. I understand, but everything like the roofs and everything, we should have a master plan for on each building.
Getting that together so we don't have to scrimp and save.
Right,
So,
even if we, but just,
Yeah.
oh, we have a roof that's 25 years old, or we have some,
anybody have any questions on that tuck point situation? Marvin, sure.
So you said that,
Microphone, Margaret.
Mike,
and I'm always complaining about not using the
Yep.
mic.
so you use the mic, Marvin.
I'm talking
There's
about
a
you.
remedy to that situation.
You got, yeah.
I know, I got.
Made me forget what I want to ask. You said it was in-house inspection on the work done, of the performance of the work. Did anybody go up topside to see?
Yep. It's
Okay,
hard fit through that little hole, Marvin.
I imagine it would be for you.
It is. Gets harder every year.
You want to go up and check?
No, I know I can't go up.
I can't either right now.
Yes, it was on-site inspection.
I'm doing good to walk. That's on here and see.
And what wasn't physically inspected was inspected with pictures from the drone.
What are your qualifications of inspecting?
I've done a lot of tuck. And that's my qualification. I'm not an engineer. Now, Tom, Greg, they've got degrees coming out.
Microphone.
They have degrees coming out there, whatever, so. No, it looks very good. They did a fine job. Repurposing the old LEC discussion and update. Primarily, Tom and I have been working on this with Scott Brown with Wendler and Associates to draw up some preliminary plans. And I truly apologize to the rest of the group, but at this point, it's all preliminary. You'll be kept totally in the loop. But if we have a third person there, we have to abide by Open Meetings Act clause, and that becomes problematic.
That's
because of
understandable.
irregularity of it. But this morning, we actually looked at some of the first more detailed preliminary drawings, but we had a lot of questions. We met with the sheriff, who part of it is a sally port. That will be the most technological area of the building. The rest is going to be pretty much bare bones. There were some changes made. They're going to be redrawn. We're going to get a look at them, and I hope by next meeting we'll have some very detailed plans on what we're going to do. We have to get that together, design drawings before we can put things out for bids. And that it's a slow process. I mean, I don't know how many of you recall how long it took to get that LEC built down south of town, but that was a very, very long process and an awful lot of meetings involved. So I will make it I will keep you all involved right down to the bricks. So, but I'm just trying to avoid open meetings act because it does, I'm not trying to avoid it. Don't get me wrong. I'm just trying to make it so we can meet when it's a convenience for virtually everybody, and Becky doesn't have to do a lot of posting and paperwork. So, anybody have any questions?
So exactly what is Scott doing for you?
Scott is doing the drawings. I think I mentioned once before that the overall plan is to make the ground floor of the old LEC into a maintenance building for Greg's troops, storage of maintenance items, and some general storage. Up above where the jail is now, all the jail cells will be stripped out. There'll be a couple of openings put where there are not openings now. One coming off 3rd Street and one coming off the alley that now goes down between the New Courts building and the LEC. And that will be for access, and the final schematic is not drawn yet. That will be for access for 5 to 6 parking places for the judges, so they will have secure parking. They will also have, and the sheriff will also have his sally port and some holding cells where he can transport prisoners into a totally secured area, have holding cells for them before they are shown to the judges. Most of the sheriff's work is done with video arraignment, but there are some people that have to appear before a judge. You might even try to find Charlie a parking place so when he makes somebody mad, he can't get my car. But that's the extent of it right at this point, is we're trying to draw floor plans. But before we put anything out for bids, we have to have the floor plans. And then that'll all come before the board for approval for funds to get the bids, and then funds to accept the bids and so on. So
This is down the road though, right?
we're doing it as quick as we can, Marvin. They're working with kind of we need to have a new sally port in place before we can abandon the old sally port. And until we get that done, some of the construction is still on hold. So, Tom, you got anything to offer?
Sounds good.
Okay. Try not to make it any more complicated than we have to. It'll be a very bare bones building, not spend a lot of money if we don't have to. Well, we're not going to spend a lot of money as compared to what we thought we were going to have to spend 3 years ago.
So you think we have the money for it now?
I don't know.
We need to get a budget set up.
We need to
look
figure
at.
out, we need to figure out what we're going to spend before we know.
Thank you. That's what I wanted to know.
Then the third item, 7C, is storage for maintenance and EMA. Tom has been doing some checking. Greg, along with that, do you want to elaborate on that, Tom, or? Little
So
bit?
we're trying to free up the garages for Greg so the guys can put their trucks in there to work on them throughout the winter and have all of our stuff in one spot. So we're looking to move some of Kevin's EMA equipment. We're currently talking to the city of Dixon. We're going out there to check out the airport hangars in order to utilize the space, and they have available hangar space. So we're gonna go out there and talk with them, and the cost for that is $0. So we're actually getting space for nothing, but working with the city of Dixon to try to come up with a solution so we can implement a plan in the old LEC building and actually get the maintenance department in under one roof. So
Any questions? Greg, you got any more comments on it? Marvin, you're,
For some reason, I thought that the airport authority out there had some, the federal government had some restriction on what some of that place could be used for.
And they have, but there's also, the person we're dealing with there is on the actual board. And this would be something that they would approve because it has to be movable, which is what we've got is 4 trailers that we want to park in there. It's something that we can't use for storage, but we can use it for putting trailers in there. There's 2 generators, a light generator, and then also a larger air conditioning heating generator. So long as it's on wheels and can be moved, we've got the okay to do it.
Who you
So,
talking, Dave?
I'm talking to the people, the people at the board.
we're still kind of still a
So
talking process.
what you're telling me that there's one person out there that's on the board, has the authority, that has the authority. Spam. That has the authority. but
Marvin, I
only
don't know who has the authority, but if you had another solution to this, that'd be fantastic. But right now, we're currently trying to work with the city to see if they could do it. They're currently using space out there right now for the fire department, which is under the same criteria as this, is it's a municipality, and they can move stuff out if they needed to. But yeah, they're not doing anything illegal that they would get in trouble for, and neither are we, from my understanding.
For me,
So-
I can understand you understand about us, but I don't know how you can tell me about
Yeah.
them.
We can talk more to the members of the board. I know several of them, so.
Help yourselves.
They're again, still a work in progress, so we're having to be a little careful what we say and do.
I'm like Ronald Reagan, trust but verify.
Mhm.
There you go, Marvin, right there.
Thank you.
I'm like,
Okay, anything else under old business that anybody has, under new business, we took care of the first 2. Greg, I believe you're on, the rest of it's yours.
Since we got the new control system up and running at the new courthouse, we're going through our preventative maintenance program with Hartwig Mechanical, and we run across a few things that need to be addressed. All the pulleys on both rooftop units are wore out so bad they're tearing up belts. So we have a price to replace those belts, and the pulleys are $2,840. And also they found that the controls on the rooftop units themselves are not working adequately, and those also need to be replaced. They had a cost of 11,000, where is it? $7,618. My question is, what are we gonna do with the rooftop units? I figured up, we've already spent $50,000 on those 2 rooftop units this year. Do we stick more money into these units and hope that everything else keeps running? Or do we do something with the rooftop units? I don't like to spend money on something that's, is so old that it can't hardly be repaired anymore. So I'm leaving that up to properties to send it on down to finance and executive and the whole works, so.
What, now the 280/40 or 28/40, those are things we need to do immediately.
Well, both of them actually we need to do immediately because we're working with, just like we're having troubles with this system here, we're working with controls that are so outdated and we're just running on a shoestring. We got all the other stuff, so now we can see what else is wrong with these units. And, we're going through our preventative maintenance, checking all the VAVs. We're trying to get a lot of the VAVs in that building all brought up to standards. There was a lot of air tubes that were broken and we weren't getting the correct CFMs out of each one of the VAVs. There's VAV motor operators that aren't working. That will have to be addressed down the road also. So it's you know, when you get something that old, it just keeps trickling down, trickling down.
Yeah, the lack of preventive maintenance on these units, over the years, I mean, the units are all completely, have outlived their life expectancy. The problem I've got is, the controls need to be done. We have to have heat and air conditioning, and we need to do it. Right now, we're looking at, a new system for the entire old courthouse, and that's $550,000. For us to go through the bidding process, the ordering apparatus is, it's 16 weeks to order new rooftop units. It's 4 months, plus the bidding process is 5, you know, we're talking 6 months before we'd even find out if we could get started on a new project. I think, I hate spending the money, but in lieu of, or the lack of preventative maintenance being done in the past, and having to make the system work, if we have to spend the money, I think it's, something we have to spend now, because even if we started the process, which we are, starting the process for the new HVAC system, it's gonna take a long time with the supply chains the way it is to get anything moving down the road. I mean, if we start signing a contract now, you wouldn't see anything until March for unit, you know, so there's a lot of work to be done, but don't you agree, Greg? This is something.
Yeah,
that we got-
and also I was gonna bring it up later because it's on the agenda for the old courthouse
Yeah.
heating system. Right now, the heating system's not, it's happened to this system, just like it did the new courthouse. We have no control system, so that thing's just sitting up there running. We have no way to adjust anything, no way to see what anything's doing. We have economizers are not working, and I'm afraid if we don't, I've got a contractor coming in to give us, same people that did the new courthouse. I have to have them give me a price on just the control system, so maybe we can operate some stuff up there till we get the new units up, but it'll be compatible, you know, to a new unit when we get them up there, but I can't let that system sit up there and run and not have, it's like driving your car with no steering wheel. You don't know where it's gonna go.
No, and then having it on his phone is, I mean, it's a big deal because we don't have the manpower to maintain it, but he also can, we put the controls in there, he can see it from his phone and from a computer and make adjustments, because right now it's just running with.
So the 14,000 would give you.
I don't have a price on the control system for that,
Okay.
for this
What do you-
building.
Yeah, we don't even want to speculate, because the
No.
other building was,
They're supposed to be here today to see what they're gonna need and how much wire and stuff they're gonna have to run. So it'll probably be a couple of weeks before they can get me a price back, but
Short term, you need the 14,000 to get everything. set up.
that's just for the new courthouse,
new
yeah.
courthouse. Yeah.
Do you
then-
have
and then-
money in your maintenance budget
No.
to do this, or is it all just-
Well, we spent 24,000 to put the new control system in over there. Then I got 15,000 back from the person that started it first and didn't finish the job. So we have that 15,000, I'm assuming, back in my budget for that, but my budget's pretty thin right now. I mean, I don't think I have enough in there
wanna maintain?
to cover it, because I think, trying to refresh my memory, but I think I had like $9,000 in maintenance there. for the
At
rest of
this point,
month.
Greg, is it, just based on what I'm hearing you say, you're probably not going to expend the money out of this year's budget anyway. It's going to get pushed to next year just simply because we've got a deadline of the 23rd of November to turn in claims for this year's budget. So we're
Correct.
probably looking at next year anyway.
Correct, yes, I'm sure we're gonna be running into next year's budget before I even get a price. Yeah, it's a good point, Wendy, thank
One
you.
way or the other, we're gonna have to get the money spent, get it done. So we just need a motion to approve these two expenditures.
Pass it to finance, you mean, or
But that,
you want to
we'll
pass
have
it
to
to
probably
finance?
go to finance, because it's gonna have to come out of capital of some sort, or capital repairs and improvements. Don't you see fit to do that, Wendy?
You know what, off the top of my head, I don't know what Greg puts in his budget on an annual basis for this type of repairs. Greg, do you remember what your budget is?
My budget line is usually 130,000 for maintenance, anything on maintenance, it comes to 130,000 is what I get every year.
So because it's coming out of next year's budget and he's got that much budgeted, not that he necessarily planned for this, but typically what we would like to see is that he go ahead and do the repairs that need to be done. And then when we get towards the end of the year, next year, if that line item or if his budget is over, that's when we come back and go, okay, well, here were the unexpected expenses. And then we allocate money perhaps from capital into his budget to make sure he's whole at the end of the year.
Yeah, and we did that the last time. We
Yeah.
told him that we would,
Right.
have him take it out of that budget, and if he ran short, that we would go to bat for him to
And
get
come
more
back
money.
well.
So I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, okay.
Well, it has to be done.
Has to-
Does, it has to be
Right.
done.
So at this point in time, as long as he's got it budgeted for next year, because we've all agreed it'll come out next year, he can just proceed forward with your, I assume with your blessing or recommendation, you being properties.
Make a motion, Greg, do the repairs. Someone.
So
Make a
the,
motion
Yeah.
that Greg gets the repairs done for the total of 14,000, whatever.
Yeah, 14 and change, so.
So that's the
I'll second.
pulleys and the rooftop?
What's that? Yeah,
I'll second.
yes.
And on that, I'd love to see, like, we're looking at a bill of over $500,000 for a new one. That in the budget, each and every year, you put 50,000 in for 10 years. Of course, you can give it back, but then that in the future, it's sent, that this is a depreciation schedule.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
And set up a depreciation schedule so the buildings know everything from roofs to air conditioning to heating, that how much, you're looking at a year-to-year budget that we were way behind on maintenance, and we need to look forward on maintenance on more
This is
stuff.
what's
That-
been.
That all sounds good. I'm just interested. I can't wait if we
No,
do
no.
get this put together, that the finance actually follows that. I'll be very surprised if you guys,
Well, these are exactly,
Adjust for
I can appreciate that, Greg, but once we get this done and we show them the roofs are gonna be, we do stuff on an as-needed basis, which is, I just cannot believe that that's how we do it, but
Yeah.
they have to start looking at the big number, and the big number is gonna scare people because it's a very large number. We have these buildings, they have not been maintained, and we need to maintain them, and when we're all dead and gone, the next people are gonna have to maintain these buildings as well, and I just don't understand how we wait till something catastrophic happens. We do need to put a depreciation schedule, but the number is gonna scare you of what
Yeah,
it's.
oh, it is, but it doesn't, that number scares the crap out of people. Where, okay, we've had that number in there for 10 years, now it came up.
Sure,
Instead of,
I get it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
I mean, we've been through this, we understand.
This
is like-
road's well traveled, as Chris will tell you, who was maintenance guy for 25
Well, yeah.
years. And it was a lack of money and
Right.
lack of desire in any way to perform. It was just a lack of money. And now we seem to be doing substantially better. And I think that's what we need to do, is set up. And as Greg said, we need to hold finances feet to the fire and make sure they do it.
So we also need, if we're gonna talk new rooftop units and stuff, we need almost an engineering study on what,
We've already got it done.
okay.
Coming along.
Okay.
Yep,
Well,
one step
I've been
ahead.
working.
Yes, you have.
He's been doing his homework, no doubt about it. Okay, so we got a motion in a second. Go ahead.
I just said, we've got to move to proaction rather than reaction.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, we gotta get,
Can't wait for something to happen, gotta fix it.
Right.
Prepare
we gotta
for
get the
it.
members of the board realizing that maybe we didn't need that much money this year, but we are leaving in a budget for them for,
It's
when
gonna
big
take,
jobs
it's
come
gonna
up.
take money to go
Yes.
into a proaction. But that's what we need.
we need a slush fund.
For years, rubbed Peter Paul, paid Paul.
Oh, yeah,
That's gotta
everywhere
stop.
here. Everything was that way.
Okay, so we got a motion, second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Go ahead, Greg.
I got one more thing, and that is, I didn't have time to get it on the agenda for here, so I'm just talking to you about it. We have it on finance committee, and I think it's going on to executive. Our last fire inspection here for our alarm system, we have 12 fire alarms that aren't working. They give me a cost of $2,704.08 to replace them. I don't think we have a choice. Fire department, I've been in touch with the fire department. We've been working back and forth. Told them I would get it as soon as we possibly could. Talked to the sheriff. The sheriff says we might be able to pull it out of a tort fund. I don't know anything about tort funds, but so I'm just an informational thing for you guys. It's gonna be coming down the road because it's something we gotta have again, but why we have 12 now and last year we didn't have any, I don't know.
Pull it out of the short fund, probably needs to have some sort of communication with CERMA and make sure that we can do it.
That expense is gonna appear in the December items anyhow.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, so we're kind of back to where we were, with the last topic. I think it's still important for Greg to bring these things to you because they'll get in the minutes that these were things that weren't on Greg's radar when he planned his budget. And when we get to the end of next year, come October, November timeframe, we'll do another analysis of his budget, and then he can come back with his little list of all the things that came forward that he didn't prepare for because he didn't know there were issues. So I think it's still a good thing he comes to you, but I don't know that you need to do anything formal other than give him his blessing.
Hopefully with the detailed depreciation plan, while the stuff won't surface.
Yeah.
So, okay. Wendy, you've done as much or more than anyone has in this audio visual situation.
I would love to be sitting in front of you today and handing out a complete and total cost proposal for the audio video, but I am in the unfortunate position of waiting for several people to get back to me. Engel Electric has given me or has been here, and they are preparing a bid estimate for adding some electrical outlets to this room. And they also have what they call a low voltage division that does audio video, as a matter of fact. They are also working to get me that estimate. They told me they'd have it to me on Friday. I'm sitting here as of this moment. I still don't have it. But the good news is at the ARPA committee strategic planning meeting several weeks ago, the audio video upgrades were identified as one of the top 5 priorities. The meeting of the ARPA committee last Thursday, there was a motion that came out of the ARPA committee to move the topic of the audio video upgrades in this room to finance this month. So my girls downstairs always cringed when I said this. My drop dead date for getting this together is going to be to finance. At last month's finance committee meeting, they challenged me to say, Wendy, this all sounds great, but you don't have enough information to really tell us what the cost is going to be. Get your ducks in a row and come back. So I'll be back at finance at the very latest with a full proposal of what the costs will be for electrical, audio, video, and the onboard software and the tablet or laptop expense to pull this all together, hopefully in the next few months. At this point, what I'll be looking for from finance is an not to exceed number that, yes, that we've approved you moving forward with the project. Of course, then we'll probably have to go out to bids. So will there be bid specs developed on the audio video in this room, potentially on the electrical? I'm not sure just yet. So this will be implemented over the next 6 months in phases, depending upon how all of those things go. I look forward to reporting back to this committee at next month with all my ducks in a row, hopefully, and I'll keep you posted.
Gonna work this for the day after tomorrow? This finance?
Yes, this finance, I gave everybody a deadline of last Friday so I could report at this finance committee meeting with the total package. So I'm hanging on by a thread, but it's all I can do. I can't give an estimate on the audio video in this room. No, this finance, because I do want to move forward with the project. So
Good.
I do have a couple other things, John. Unless there are any questions about the audio video upgrades, I'd be happy to address those.
Anybody got some questions for Wendy on that particular item? Okay. Go
All
ahead.
right, by way of a report, I just wanted to give you a heads up that in the September 7th hailstorm that a very narrow band of Lee County got hit with, came right through Progress Drive. So lots and the Sheriff's Department and Animal Control. The animal control roof was damaged in that storm. Our insurance company had an adjuster come out and they have declared that the roof needs to be replaced. So at this point in time, this is just an FYI to you to know that Tom, I understand, thank you very much, did take a look at the roof. We're looking at doing bids next spring. We're not looking at trying to do something yet this fall, but we will be replacing the roof. Just as an FYI, the insurance adjustment or the payout for that will be $28,665. That's our insurance payout for the damage to that roof. So we'll be utilizing that money, obviously, to replace it. There were some damages to some vehicles out there on the lots, at lots, and the Sheriff's Department, those also we have been reimbursed to the tune of about $40,000 for all the cars that were damaged out there. We did have not just dings to the car itself, but windshields that were damaged and had to be replaced and whatnot. Very narrow band of very large hail that went through. So we've got that. And then also on your agenda, and I think got sent to you, but I don't remember, is a memorandum of understanding between the Lee County Board and the Lee Ogle Transportation System, or LOTS. Greg let me know that he had to step out. He had someplace else to be. So I will bring you up to speed on my own. Through the Finance Committee process earlier this year, it was discovered, and I'm not sure, it was prior to my time, so I'm not sure who brought it up, but there was the idea that LOTS is not, they're getting the benefit of insurance coverage on the building and vehicles out there, but they're not really contributing towards the insurance cost. So that got added into the budget so that LOTS would reimburse Lee County for that out of their grant funding that they get. That's an allowable expense. In the process of reviewing that, though, it was discovered that we have multiple agreements out there with LOTS, one with the Treasurer's Office, one with the Maintenance Department, and now there's the insurance. There's a potential phone reimbursement. So I put together a memorandum of understanding that would cover an umbrella over all of those things, and am presenting it, will be presenting it through the board this month for approval. Greg has already reviewed and approved the agreement as it stands for right now. The only outstanding issue is the phone bill. We are still waiting for clarity from Paul Gorski on whether that phone bill will be routed through Gorski's office and we will be paying for it, in which case LOTS needs to reimburse us, or will that phone bill come through the IT department, be reviewed, and then forwarded directly to LOTS for payment. So right now, the phone reimbursement is in this agreement. That may shift here in the next couple of days. Once again, I'm finding myself waiting for information from somebody else before I can go forward. Did anybody remember seeing, or did you see that agreement? Do you have any questions on it? Any questions I can answer?
You have a copy of this? Could be in the packet. Everybody seen the MOU? Okay. Yeah. Just need a motion to approve that. I'll move. Bill, second?
Second.
That go to executive then?
Goes on the agenda.
Executive, yes.
The motion,
Yes.
motion to approve.
Board
or move.
agenda, yeah. And then all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Who was first and second?
Second,
Still Dave?
Bill, Dave.
And the last thing that I can think of that I just wanted to give you again a heads up on at the administration committee meeting earlier, you've been hearing us talk about updates to the board rules and procedures. You will be seeing moving through this month through to the full board, the changes as proposed to the board rules and procedures. At this point in time, at Bob's request, we are not making any changes to committee structures. There was consideration to do that in preparation for next year with the board going from 24 to 20 members. But because we've got all these other things in the hopper right now, including a claims process change and this onboard and board organizational software change, he decided to just hold steady on that. But we still have some changes that need to be made, or at least that board members believe needed to be made to the board rules and procedures. And I'm just going to give you a quick highlight so you know what the changes are. First and foremost, right now, your board rules do not allow remote attendance by board members in order to get per diem. That is not allowed under our current board rules. As you know, during COVID, the governor had an executive emergency order that overruled that and allowed for that. But our board rules don't. So when the executive order expired, we had to go back to you being physically present in the room. So the recommendation that is being made in your board rules is to follow the Open Meetings Act, which would allow remote attendance in 3 specific situations. One being the board member were sick or ill and could not be physically in attendance. If they had a family member that was sick or ill and could not be physically in attendance. And last but not least, if you are traveling and out of the area for business purposes, you can participate remotely. Those are currently the Open Meeting Act statutes right now. And the recommendation is that our board adopt those same things, which would allow individuals to participate remotely and get per diem. So and by the way, The only way, for example, this committee could actually have a meeting is if you had a physical quorum present in this room. So you can have one member out and about for those three reasons. But if you don't have a physical quorum sitting in this room, you still can't have a meeting because, again, following open meetings law. So therefore, the board rules will request that you let the Becky know 48 hours in advance, if possible. Obviously, if you're sick, that's not always possible. But if possible, so that we can make sure that we do have a quorum in the room. And with that, there would be some latitude for some members to attend remotely. The other couple of items are a little less lengthy than that, but no less important.
A quick question on it. How many is a quorum? And
Depends on the committee size. So how many are on this one? 6?
I,
Three.
three is a quorum.
Three,
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
right.
okay.
I'm sorry, I heard 5 and 3. I'm like, there's 5 people sitting in the room now. There has to be more than 3. I wasn't following you. So we did have to change the board rules to reflect the fact that you could then attend remotely for one of those 3 specific reasons. And you would be eligible if you did so for per diem, and you would be eligible to vote if these board rules go forward. Yes, Marvin.
Yeah, my question is, can you, I know at one time we used to bring somebody in from another committee when we were short.
Yep, we can still do that. You could still do that.
Yeah, as long as they're a member.
Yep.
I said from another committee.
Yep, to get your quorum, absolutely.
Yeah, member.
You just got to make sure that, because not always is there another board member floating around that you can tag. So you got to, that's what would, if we had noticed 48 hours in advance, we could plan for that and make sure we had enough people here. The only other thing that I will point out about the changes to the minutes are the fact that in the past, your board rules have always required that the annual meetings be determined and posted before December 1st. Your board rules said it had to be before December 1st, December 1st being the fiscal year. Every year we have questions about that and whether that makes sense, because we have new board members that will come in every other year in December, and those new board members really don't get an opportunity to vote on when the meeting dates should be. So in researching the Open Meetings Act, you are, as a board, allowed, according to the Open Meetings Act, to post those meetings in advance of your fiscal year, December 1, or the calendar year, January 1. So what this board rule change would allow you to do is to post those meetings and determine those meetings in the month of December, should you decide to. So you're going to have the flexibility to decide when are your meetings going to be determined and therefore posted, by the beginning of the fiscal year or the calendar year. Any questions on the board rules? Those are the highlights of the board rules that we're looking at changing. Again, they'll be moving through the board and they'll be at the full board meeting when you meet next week. That's all I have, unless anybody has any questions for me.
Those changes, pardon me, those changes will take effect as of December.
Those changes would take effect as of your approval of the board rules. So yeah, effectively, it's going to be December because you won't vote on it until your meeting next week, full board meeting next week. So
A few weeks after that, they'll be the rules. Okay.
Thank you. Okay, basically, we have 2 appointments, resolutions for appointment. Are they on the executive, Becky? So does everybody have a copy of that and understand what's going on? Yep. It's to appoint Emily to serve out Chris's term and Ben Forster to the Regional Planning Commission. So we're good to go.
Right.
Anybody have questions? We're not doing anything at all on it. Any other, anything else that has to be brought before the committee? Not just a motion to adjourn. Got it, Marvin. Good to go. Thanks.
Marvin and Bill?
Bad. Are you?
Oh, Marvin.
I'll be out there shortly. I got some